Okay, part, whatever it is. Anyway, let's put this all into practice. Here is Grandma, and we would like to make a picture of Grandma sitting on her sofa, her favorite place where she sits by the big picture window in the living room, and we would like to make Grandma's photo. So we take our camera with its light meter, whether we are manipulating the light meter or the camera is manipulating the light meter for us, or the light meter is guiding the camera's decisions. We aim our camera at Grandma. We've set our ISO, whatever we choose, and say, smile, Grandma, and we are not controlling our exposure. We're letting automatic, or we're letting the light meter tell us what our exposure should be. We go with it. We push the button. Let's smile again. Come on, Grandma. Click, click, click. Okay. So, what happens when we look at these pictures later? Well, we see Grandma as a dark, dark silhouette against this bright, sunny day outside. Why? The light meter didn't know it was Grandma. Light meters don't have grandmothers. They're just machines. And all it saw was light. And it saw a whole lot of light all around this darker area. And it said, oh, we got plenty of light. Let's use a small aperture, short shutter speed, maybe even a lower ISO because we got so much light. Click. Well, the trees, the birds, everything outside is very nicely exposed. Grandma is way, way too dark. So what can we do? What can we do? Well, we could move our camera closer into Grandma. Hopefully she's not wearing that gold lame dress, which is going to be sparkly. Perhaps she's got her little gray house dress on. Meter the house dress. Hold your camera. If it's one that's going to just continue to readjust every time it sees a different lighting situation, you can often keep your finger on the shutter button to lock in that exposure. Back out, frame Grandma, push the button. We could also say, Grandma, would you mind holding my gray card? Grandma holds the gray card in the same light that she's being exposed by, interior light. It's not registering all this outside stuff. We are just registering the light that's landing on Grandma, not the light in the picture. Hold this, Grandma. Why do I want to hold this? Because I'm going to make your picture. Well, what's that got to do with making my... Shut up, Grandma. Meter. Lock it in, pull back, push the button, click. Grandma is going to be very nicely exposed because the gray card will come out gray according to the meter. Therefore, everything that's lighter than gray comes out lighter. Everything that's darker than gray comes out darker. Grandma, pretty much in the middle. No reading of the light coming through the window. That's just ignored completely because the gray card is facing our camera. Grandma looks great. Outside, it looks like the start of World War III. Blown up white. It is going to be blasted. In fact, you might even get a little bit of effect around Grandma because the light's just pouring in. But Grandma's going to be exposed correctly. Okay, that's the way you deal with the situation. Look at it first. Determine where is your most important part. Is there a bright part patch looking through the trees into the direct bright sky when your actual photograph is going to be of the little, I don't know, deer or something down there in the undercover of the bush? Don't let that bright patch of skylight affect your exposure. Don't meter for it. Meter for the gray areas, meter for your subject, meter for the stuff around your subject. Now, if your subject is a black cat in a coal mine, well, that's a different story, because that black cat in the coal mine is going to come out to be a gray cat in a gray mine. If it's a polar bear in a snowdrift and you meter, that polar bear is going to come out gray and the snow is going to come out gray. This is a very tricky situation. That's why a gray card is a very, very handy thing to carry in your camera bag. Meter the gray card in the same light as your subject. Put the gray card away, don't lose it. Back up, click. your exposure is going to be pretty good. Now, if it is a black cat in a coal mine, you might want to give it a little bit more exposure than the gray card tells you. If it's a polar bear in a snowdrift, you might want to give it a little bit less exposure because snow is incredibly bright. The gray card will give you exposure for the basic range of possible tones, but that polar bear, which is white, in the snow, which is very white, I used to live in some snow, it's unbelievably bright, then you might want to make a decision beyond what you read in your light meter, underexpose that snow a little bit. You might want to overexpose the black cat in the coal mine. These are not necessarily arbitrary decisions that your meter will tell you, but this machine, this little piece of cardboard here, will help you to make these decisions a lot more comfortably, a lot more accurately, and with a certain amount of confidence. That's pretty much what I'm talking about. Now, what's the best thing here to do with Grandma? Besides eat her cookies and thank you, Grandma, for the cookies. You get some more? Move Grandma over here to the love seat so that the window is not right behind her, so that the light coming through the window is exposing her face very nicely. And you'll be able to make that light work for you instead of against you, which is basically your setup here. That's it. Remember to look at the light. That's your most important job. See what you're looking at. See the light. We tend to be critters that respond to things, people, animals, danger, stuff like that. Love. We don't necessarily look at what we're actually seeing. We don't see the light involved with what is exposing us to these objects. And this is a bit of a problem. We've evolved to be able to recognize leopard and run away. But perhaps one human being goes, oh, would you look at the way the light defines the musculature on the shoulders and the backlight on the whiskers and oh, the little drip of saliva on that, what do we call that tooth? That incisor, that's right. Friend goes, leopard run. Bobo's going, look at the light, gets eaten. So, selective. We may have been selected out, those of us who actually see the light. That's why there's less of us. But we can all learn to get better at it. And if you can look at the light in addition to your great-grandmother there, you will be better off and you'll make better photographs and you can integrate what you see with what you know, the light with the love. All right. Thank you. Later.